I'm Kate Ward, and this is your Dickman Farms Smart Gardening Tip. And today, I'm home, but it is time to do a little bit work in the garden, uncovering things that were covered for the winter for their protection. It's that time of year that things are starting to grow, so before those buds emerge underneath that winter protection, and they get knocked off when I try and take it off later, we want to take that away now. So let me show you what you're going to do with this example that I have from home of a butterfly bush. So here's the butterfly bush. It's leftover growth from here. This is a medium-sized plant. It was new 2 years ago, and so it's really put on some growth here. But here is that mulch layer that I put on, and I've already started taking it away, and I'm gonna toss that mulch to spaces in the garden that can handle a little bit more mulch on them. You want to be careful you don't bury other things. Like here is a little baby columbine. I don't want to bury that underneath or knock it off as I'm going. You should probably not keep your pruners open just in case you know, so we'll leave those there for now. But we're clearing away all of this old mulch that I piled up here, and if at first you don't have to go too far, go for it, and then we can spread it out later. And what this mulch, what its job was to keep this plant warm, like it had a blanket on it. And when I get close to, so that top I knew was going to be questionable as far as what it was protecting. But as I get down in here, I'm going to go a little slower. I'm going to go a little slower because, as you can see on this one anyways, we do a little bit of a color change. So here it's just gray. This stick has some puckering in it, I guess, that the bark is pulled away, but then it changes and I start to get a little bit of green here. So we're going to stop and be careful with what we're taking away now, because we're starting to get a little bit of green growth, a little bit of healthy tissue that sort of can push water back into it once it starts waking up for good. So I don't want to inadvertently knock it off. Now, this is from previous seasons that I'm uncovering, and I can just really lightly do things like that because they're not going to grow back. So I can take my trimmers to them too, but if they're really old like that, there's another one. Here's a, no, not that one. This was from another old season. It doesn't need to be there. It's not doing anything for the plant. It's definitely dead, and they're kind of easy. Instead of wasting my time trimming, I just sort of push them opposite of the direction of growth, and they snap right off at the base. So I'm going to keep getting my hands working down there, and ooh, that was a good uncover. Look at that. And this is really, that's exactly what the mulch does. It is supposed to help keep it warm like a winter blanket so that the stuff near the base stays protected. And I mean, the difference is huge, right? You can see how much difference the stuff that was protected made. And so I think that might be a toasty one, but it won't come off easily. So you can see it still keep working in here with your fingers. Again, we're trying to do this early so we don't inadvertently knock off those tender buds. And not only that, but if you're waiting a long time, it's getting hot out, it's getting warm, and they're going to grow faster under here, but it's not quite warm yet, which means it gives these guys time. We're not going to get as cold as we would in the middle of winter, but it gives these guys time to wake up and get used to the bright sun, the cool temperatures, but we're not going to get those -20s and -10s that we had consistently. So we're not going to run the possibility of doing as much damage. So now that you're uncovered, and depending on when you get out there and do this, you might find that, wow, a lot of stuff didn't make it back, or I can see where it did. And then some people have different gardens than I do. I have this pretty harsh exposure for this plant here in this particular garden. And if I go like this, oh, it made a sort of soft sound. It made a soft snap sound. And we can look, and I don't mind. And this has still got a little tiny bit of green coloration in there. So there's a chance that these buds, even though they look fried and crispy and yucky, might come back. But I want to start from a lower thing. And so once I have it uncovered, I know it's alive. I've got my green growth there. Now I want to shape it. So I'm going to start by shaping it down here. Now I'm cutting just above these buds here, and the nice thing about that, you can see that greenish coloration. That means that stem made it through the winter. It is alive, so likely we'll have some growth from these buds, even though it looks kind of terrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut across this almost in a shape like this, and I can't get far enough away, like this. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to choose to cut right above a bud, So in the internode space, ooh, learning big terms today. Where's my clippers? There we are, right above that. And I don't want to cut sort of in the middle of a thing. See the middle of the thing here where I have my buds and then a sticky part and then some more buds. So buds, stick part, more buds. I don't want to cut in the middle. I want to cut just above, a straight cut just above that space. It keeps it nice and clean. We don't need all that extra dead stick. So I'm going to keep going and do that. And eventually I'm going to get everything all cleaned up. I think this whole thing is dead. Oh yeah, it is dead. So that's a little harder to cut. And this one I'll cut down at the base after a minute. But now you can see overall my shape to start with is a little bit more rounded and even. We're uncovered. Oh, there's a straggler over here. Goodbye, guys. Thanks. Thanks for playing and staying this winter. Get out of here. And this is my starting base. There it is. All ready to go for spring. I'll clean up my mess. I'll push away the mulch. And we're ready to go. Hello. Happy spring. This is Maynard Dickman Farms Smart Gardening Tip.